People of Reddit, what totally obvious scam do people still fall for? My grandmother has been motivated by greed her whole life. Once the dementia started setting in, she became extremely gullible. Her financials are on lockdown now, but over the years she sold every asset she had to send cash to scammers to the tune of about $500,000, and that's just what we know of. She owned a ton of real estate and was an estate jewelry broker, so she was a real cash cow for someone. We really have no clue how long it was going on for or how much she lost in total. She always had stories about people stealing from her jewelry cases at shows, and it was totally normal to find bags of diamond jewelry in crazy places, like the veggie crisper. It doesn't have to be a brilliant scam if you get just the right person on the line. Had a friend of mine fall for the deployed soldier scam. She paid $8,000 in court-martial fines for this person because they lost their primary weapon. Then came the gold scam. There was a package with stolen Iraqi gold that was being held at the border, and she could get it all taken care of for $22,000 or go to jail. That's when she called me. My wife and I looked through everything this person had sent her and figured out the whole thing was fake. The shipping company that was holding the package, the Canadian soldier wearing US Marine gear and badging, the court-martial paperwork. Everything. It was kind of fun playing detective. But then we had to break it to her and keep showing her the evidence repeatedly. It took a few weeks of her calling and asking, "But what if?" before she really got it. All told, she was taken for about $20,000, would have been 40 if she hadn't have called when she did. It was brutal. A nice exiled Nigerian prince contacted me by email. His royal family has been overthrown by the military, who has blocked access to the bank accounts whilst they are in hiding. Fortunately, their accountant still can access their wealth, and they desperately need a foreign account to move the money so it can't be seized by the state until they are safe again. With amazing luck, they chose me in Australia to help them, which I must for the generous offer of 25% of the millions they need to move, as long as I provide my bank details and a scan of my passport just to confirm I'm real. If I don't help, I would never forgive myself. Apparently I'm their last chance, as others have failed them, and I'm to keep this just between the prince and I. I'm probably putting myself and the royal family at risk by discussing it on Reddit, but thought this post worthy of bringing awareness to their plight. My in-laws got a phone call a few years ago saying they had won millions in a contest, but to get the money they needed to pay some fees of some sort. Obvious scam. They hit my husband up asking for money to pay the fees, and were going on about how excited they were about winning all this money. My husband tried telling them it was a scam, and they absolutely refused to believe it. The only way my husband was able to convince them was to get them on a three-way call between himself, his mother, and a police officer. The police officer, after quite a bit of time, finally convinced them it was a scam and they didn't send any money. To this day they deny it ever happened. Guy in our village gave his online girlfriend £10,000 to help her out, but she was rich and would pay him back. She said she'd use the money to come visit him as well. He hasn't heard from her in months and is still convinced she's on her way. I got one the last week I was in the office before we closed for the month. Pretending to be my boss, who was requesting me to buy several eBay cards for some of the staff. I had a good time emailing back and forth with the guy and stringing him along for about an hour and a half. We literally have 9 employees in the whole company, all of whom I can talk to just by raising my voice loud enough to be heard down the hallway. Additionally, I am the one in charge of birthdays and holiday office gifts. I don't think my boss even knows when our birthdays and staff appreciation days are. Boyfriend/girlfriend in Nigeria that needs money. I used to work in a bank, and we had one customer actually fall for this one. One notable incident involved him asking us, Bank A in the US, to put money in the girlfriend's account, Bank B in Nigeria. When we tried to explain we couldn't do that without a wire transfer, his only response was, "But it's my girlfriend." Needless to say, he was a perfect candidate for the girlfriend and lost hundreds of dollars. Few years back, my old manager from Best Buy, a decade previous job, calls me and says he is very certain my grandma is in the store trying to buy $3,000 in Apple gift cards to bail my cousin Adam out of jail. Yep. Poor grandma fell for a phone scam. They called and somehow got her thinking that they were my cousin, that he was in jail, begged her to go buy the gift cards as it's the only thing they would take to let him out. Luckily the store associate figured out it was crazy for a 85-year-old to be trying to buy $3,000 in gift cards with zero idea what she was asking for. They called the police, of course, which didn't help as I am trying to calm her down over the phone from 600 miles away while texting my brother to go get her. Your PC has 60 viruses. Please click the extension and download it to kill the viruses. My mum used to fall for this, and I had to literally smack her hand away from the mouse so that she doesn't basically kill my already potato laptop. A friend of mine at work got caught with the secret shopper scheme. I was floored because she has so much common sense and is a relatively intelligent woman. The scammer sent her a check to deposit into her account. With the money, she was to go to Walmart and buy something around $50. The item was hers to keep. She was then to go get money orders for the rest of the $2,000, minus her purchase, and send the money to some place. She did all of this, and they cancelled the check to her bank. So, she was in the hole for all of that money and is still paying the bank off. Have a parent that keeps falling for scam charities. He just can't seem to wrap his head around the idea that a person on the phone with a good line isn't necessarily a representative of a legitimate charity. Because he fell for it, they've come after him like sharks in chummed water, calling all the time, ignoring requests to stop, calling at varying times until they get the right mark on the phone, etc. I looked them up because they sent something in the mail too, and though they pretend to be different charities, Breast Cancer Outreach Foundation, some kind of police officer fund, etc., they're all just the same scam in which 100% of the money goes to the call center and the person running the charity. There is a current grandparent scam that people keep falling for. A lawyer calls a grandparent and says that their grandchild was arrested and they need a large amount of money to bail them out. Usually it's in the thousands of dollars. They then tell them a courier will come and pick it up. These people often lose their life savings. The worst part is that they never even pick up the phone to call their family to confirm if this is true. I work at a cell phone store and I had a lady come in who got scammed for 5 iPhone 11 Pro Maxes. She thought she was sending them to her future husband and his military friends in Michigan who she had been talking to for several months. Little did she know he kept her account PIN and ordered a bunch of more phones, and they ended up in Nigeria. Since she had sent the first phone to him, she ended up getting stuck with all the phones and having to pay for them. She was just a poor old lady who wasn't all the way there, having to pay over $1,000 a month on her cell phone bill. My brother's friend, the super smart second-year med student at the best university in the country, got scammed buying fake AirPods Pro on Facebook. Made me laugh for hours because he paid for 75% of its retail price, so it wasn't even a huge saving, and these AirPods have ridiculous holes at the bottom that look like Swiss cheese. Even better, when my brother asked how he had validated the authenticity of the AirPods first, his friend said, "I asked, seller, 3 times and he said yes." My aunt, 60Y/0 and divorced, got involved in a romantic scam and lost all her life savings, equivalent to $200,000, which in my country is enough to survive on just the interests alone. She claimed that the guy they connected on FB wanted to marry her, but first he needed money to start a business or something. I personally tried talking her out of it and told her never to send any money to this guy. Everyone tried to stop her, even her children. No matter how hard we all tried, stopping short of locking her up, she insisted that it was true love and transferred all her money to him. Immediately after he got the money, he cut off all contact and cancelled his phone. My aunt was more devastated that she lost the love of her life than her life savings. She still believed the guy's intention. Anyway, now she is waiting tables for a living instead of comfortably earning interests for the rest of her life.